Hello everyone, I'm Tim from Tim's PC and I build custom PCs to suit anyone's needs or budget. I also live stream all of my builds and repairs for transparency and educational purposes. So if you would like to get an awesome new PC and you'd like to see it get put together here live, send me a message today. Alrighty, so we're back again tonight, this time with some actual work, not just looking at a 5950X. So tonight we've got a PC that's been bought into me. Customer said he's got some sort of boot error. He's tried clearing the CMOS and doing a few little basic things, but he just can't get it to boot up. So I don't even know exactly what this PC is. So without further ado, let's get into it. But before I do that, I might actually put my anti-static strap on because I don't want to damage anyone else's computer unwittingly while I'm working on it. Alrighty, so all strapped in there. So let's get this panel off and let's have a look at what we got. Oh, it's only plastic. That's alright. So there we got. So, can I see a motherboard number on this?
I like that graphics card, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I was right. It's an X79, so it's an LGA 2011 socket here. So we've got an Intel Xeon. So as you can see here, there's 4 DIMM slots over here and there's 4 DIMM slots over here. So this has actually got quad channel memory. So we've got quad channel memory, we've got a 240mm radiator on the CPU there. We've got a graphics card, I can't see, oh hang on, let me have a look. This is a GeForce GTX 1070 Gaming X, 8GB. What else have we got here? Nothing else on this board. We've got, what's that? Looks like a SSD of some sort. Yeah, pretty nice motherboard. Decent for the time. So I'll open up this back panel as well, just in case we need to have a look in here. Okay, what do we got here? Got an SSD in there. It's like a fan controller, RGB controller. Okay. So let's get started working out what's going on with this PC. So first thing I want to do when I get a new PC, I don't know what's wrong with it. Before I even hook up a monitor or a keyboard or any of that kind of stuff, I just want to plug in a power cable, turn it on, and now I'm going to pay attention to everything that happens when I press the power button. Okay, there's our error light. Okay, no worries. So we're seeing, let's have a more detailed look at that. Okay. Alrighty. So I've disconnected the SATA devices from the drive, sorry, from the motherboard there. Okay, seeing the same error coming up. All right, no worries. So I'll unhook some of these peripherals down the bottom as well. We just want to make sure that we've taken everything into account here. Okay, so I've got all of those USB cables and whatnot unhooked.
Dominic says, hey bro, how the repair going?
Yeah, good mate. We've just gotten started here, so we're just having a look. We're seeing a boot error here. So it could be a number of different things. At this stage, we're still seeing we've only got a power cable hooked up at the moment, so we're not doing anything else. We're just seeing what we see. Okay. Alrighty. Try. So I'm going to plug in a diagnostic speaker, and depending on the settings we may get a post beep code come through, and it might help shed a bit more light. Alright, I'm getting a normal post. Okay. Alrighty. So that's given us a hint as to what's going on there. So watch the screen now. So let's see if we get a post. Okay, got a post.
Oh.
Alrighty, so what have we got on the screen there? No keyboard detected, no CPU fan error. Get that sometimes. No, that's all looking good. Alright. Sweet. This might be an easier repair than we thought. Caching SSD. Okay. Interesting. Maybe that was causing our problems here.
Nick wants to know what's wrong with this build.
Not sure, mate. It was just brought to me saying that it's not booting up, and getting some errors, like a boot error. So we're just going to work through and find out what's wrong with it. Oh, that's not. I am trying to plug in the front panel audio. Yes, there we go.
Nick says that beeping brings back very, very old memories. I haven't heard that in years.
Okay.
I like that beep.
So we got everything except that caching SSD installed. It's going to run through its stuff.
Yep. It's very satisfying. Ew, that's not satisfying.
No, but it's just going to be the same. It's going to be the same error. Yep. Sweet. Alright, so everything's all hooked up now. We've got our main hard drive. I'm going to plug in some peripherals now. So you just take as much stuff out of the equation as you can possibly take out. You know, I started with just a power cable in this, so unplugged everything.
What the brand of this PC is.
So this has, okay, I'll give you the rundown of what I can see in the PC. I did sort of run through it quickly at the start of the video. So this is an X79 motherboard. It has an Intel Xeon CPU. I don't know what CPU yet. Let's wait till we get Windows booted up and actually have a look around and see what this system is. We have an MSI GTX 1070 Gaming X, a graphics card in here. I'm not sure how much memory, but as you can see here, we've got quad channel memory because this is
Corsair memory. I can see that.
It's Corsair, and I'm not sure what this stuff is here. This is a different
thermal take cooler.
Yeah, it's got thermal take.
Cougar case.
Yep. Yeah, it's got some RGB fans up here, and it's got a little bit of stuff. It's like a good rig from like a little while ago. So we've still got a PCI slot here, not a PCIe. That's this. You probably can't see it very well. Maybe try to zoom in a little bit, and get that angle around. So that slightly shorter looking slot there that's sort of raised up, that's a PCI slot. So you would have seen them in older motherboards. Alrighty, so looking at that, looks like our RAM is okay. Because we're getting a post.
Steven says my newish PC doesn't have a PC speaker. Tim? Steven says my newish PC doesn't have a PC speaker.
Yeah, so they don't usually include them. Like, if you need one, I've got plenty of them, and you can just drop by my place and you can pick one up. That's no issue. But basically, with those, they're generally not installed in new PCs because because people do overclocking settings, the XMP profiles, and they do overclocking with the graphics cards. Plenty of graphics cards come pre-overclocked, and all these modifications to how these things
run.
run.
It's just to have one laying around, so if you actually have a problem with your PC, you can just plug it in and you can actually.
Because it's a good hint. If you hear it turn on and do the one beep, if you hear it turned on and doing the one beep, then essentially you're getting a code that's saying all okay, everything's sweet, we're on to the next stage. Okay, so if you hear anything but the one beep, then that's a problem. That's where you've got some sort of error. But it might not be an error. You might just have an overclocked graphics card that's just causing a headache there, and it might show up with a memory error. You might get 3 beeps. And then it'll post normally. So that's why you don't generally install those speakers. I don't install them into customers' PCs unless I think that they're going to have a problem. So yeah, if you get a PC from me, it's got the speaker, maybe be like, oh shit, why do you put that in there? So anyway, we've got everything hooked up except for this caching SSD, or at least that's how it's marked. So let's turn it on now and let's see if it boots into Windows. So now that we've got it working, now we've got to sort of, it's like, yeah, okay, sweet, now it's working, but now we've got to work out what was actually the problem with this. So, okay.
It was 4 beeps.
Yep. That's just, let's just exit out of this. Save changes, reset. Not made any changes, that's all good. So it was we got to add that CPU fan error. Yep. So we seeing it again? Yep, CPU fan error. So you could have a dead radiator, potentially.
Really?
No, the CPU fan was connected to the back fan.
Was the wrong thing connected on the wrong thing or something?
What's that?
Was the wrong header connected?
No, everything's looking pretty good. It looks like we have two CPU headers, and one was actually connected to the radiator. So what we're going to do, I'm going to chuck another fan onto it. So okay, let's got another fan on it. Okay. CPU over temperature error. Okay, that's interesting.
Could there be a bad mount on the CPU cooler?
No. Let's get to the bottom of this. Something's up.
Amiss?
Yeah, something's up. We shouldn't be seeing. Let's have a look at this.
Nick says CPU errors can 100% relate.
Well, I mean, this is a Xeon. Okay,
Ooh,
there we go.
Something.
There we go. So
What did you do?
we have made progress. So basically, we have a fan, an ordinary fan, that was connected to the CPU fan header and was causing an error. That pump seems to be functioning. So that may have been the fundamental problem here. So let's just plug in that other SSD. Let's turn it on. Fan voltage error of some sort, I think, on this back fan that was causing everything to go haywire. Okay, so we don't have a boot device in here. Okay, that's alright. We'll just plug in. I'm pretty sure.
Nick says a regular fan connected to a CPU header.
Yeah, so you can do that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Why did it make this computer go faster?
It's probably something wrong with the fan and the voltage control for that fan. that was causing the system to think that there was something wrong with the CPU fan. So I think I got an operating system on this SSD. I think. Or we might just be in for like a repeat of what we just saw before. But I'd like for it to boot. Come on, boot.
Doing something else, I think.
That's looking like an operating system.
Yay. Brian says, can you explain some time graphics card minings?
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, maybe send me a message on that one because there's a little bit to understand on that topic.
I like this person's picture.
No, this is mine.
What?
This is my SSD. I think, isn't it? It's not mine?
No, that's not us. That's somebody else.
Okay.
This is the actual person's computer. Very nice wedding photo.
Let's turn it off because I don't want to get into.
No, you don't want to show like.
No, I don't want anyone seeing another customer's private computer and desktop.
No. Please don't.
That's the last thing I want to do. I just want to get into a Windows operating system so I can run some other tests on the parts. I want to make sure that the cooler's definitely functioning and all that before I do a fix for him, because it's looking like this will be a very, very easy fix. Yeah, this is mine. See, what it's doing now is the operating system that's on my SSD, it was installed on a different computer with different specs and different drivers and stuff. And Windows is recognizing the fact that it's being put into a new PC. And what it's doing is it's loading some special drivers, like default drivers, that'll allow it to talk to everything on this PC. Because even though it's a PC and it looks like the other PCs, this is a totally different. This may as well, if this operating system, I think was installed on like an Intel consumer platform, and to go from an Intel consumer platform to like an Intel Xeon platform, you may as well go from Intel to AMD. It's totally different architecture. And so now it should just boot into Windows normally, and then we can actually do some stuff. Alrighty. Okay, so what have I got? Alright, can't share the screen on this, I'm not set up for that because this is a repair. Just gonna unhook my anti-static strap because I think we're pretty much done working on internals here because everything's fine. I didn't have to touch the memory, didn't have to touch the graphics card. Okay, so let's find out what this baby is. So I know it's an X79 motherboard. This is an Intel i7 3930K. LGA 2011. And this is an Asus Tech X79. Got 16 gigabytes of RAM. That's interesting. It looks like we've got sticks in. They're blank sticks though. Okay. Interesting. Let's do a quick bench. So as you can see here, not like the 5950. The 5950 just gets another 10,000 points more than that. just a little bit more. So yeah, there we go. So if I got, oh, I don't even have hardware monitor. Well, we can fix that. Serious? Where's my Windows? Here it is. Alrighty. So I just want to make sure that cooler is running properly. Don't have internet. Where's our internet? Just plug in a cable here, we don't have Wi-Fi. Alrighty, where are we? Hardware monitor, where's hardware monitor? Okay, open up hardware monitor. Look at those idle temps to start off. This is an MSI GTX 1070. I think it's Gaming X is the model.
A little RGB and a little dragging inside of them. That's cool.
So those temps are very, very warm. Very, very warm. That radiator is, yeah, it's hot.
Do you have some spare fans that you can chuck on, like black ones? Would that
For push pull, yeah, possibly. But
this is top.
no worries. Okay, so alrighty, so what about so I want to try something a little bit more intensive on it first. Should be fine because Xeons will run a bit hotter just like by default. But we just want to make sure that radiator's functioning right. But the radiator itself is very hot. Very hot. So it's moving a lot of heat away. Not sure if these Is there even any fans on this radiator?
I don't think so. That's why I was like, can you add fans to it? Because it doesn't seem like there's any on it anymore.
All right. Yes, Nick. Yep, definitely. But like I said, this is a fundamentally different CPU to what you had. So we've got to remember what we're dealing with here. No, this is normal. This is how fast it goes. This used to be high-end desktop performance, workstation
I'm
performance.
kind of spoiled after seeing what Mike could teach
Yeah.
before.
Yeah. The CPU would have cost roughly the same as what yours would have been back in the day. And this is what I got. Anyway, we're not here to watch Cinebench, we're here to watch temperatures. So temperatures there in the 70s, so that's definitely evidence that the radiator's functioning while it's doing this kind of work. It's still getting very, very, very hot, but still not getting too hot. Like, it's not over temp. So but that radiator is going to be, oh, that's so hot. It's like, it's hot to touch when you pull your hand away. That's how hot it's getting. So we've got two fans on the front with this radiator, and they're both not turning.
Neither is the back fan.
Oh, that's the fan that I disconnected. So that's okay. Okay. So why isn't this controller working? Let's just rewire this. That's okay.
Is there something not correct?
Is that stalled?
I think so.
I think so. Oh, I'm just helping this radiator cool down because it got really, really hot without those fans on. Seems to be working okay now. So just had a weird voltage error with the fans, basically causing that error to come up there. It's looking like everything's going to be fine now. Okay. Alrighty. That's all starting to cool down there now, so I think we sorted it out. So what was going on was there was a CPU fan error, and I think it was being caused by this fan controller. For whatever reason, it was the BIOS was detecting that there was something wrong with the CPU fan, and it was getting stuck posting that same message. So when I put a different fan on the CPU fan header and rejigged some things, it worked just fine. So it's what you can expect with older systems.
Do you
can get.
Keep that fan in there, and is it going to do the same thing once you unplug it?
So I'll probably have to see how that goes. I probably won't even have to have it plugged in at all, I don't think, because I'm pretty sure that once I remove that, it'll just function normally. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to shut it down. We're going to remove my SSD. We're going to plug in all the customers' drives again, and then we're going to give it another go. Okay, so this is just boot priorities because we did get into the customs drive there before. Yeah, so what's happened is he said he cleared CMOS. So that's reset the boot order, and now it's trying to boot from the hard drive, I think, and it should be booting from the SSD. Okay, boot menu. Yeah. So, where are we? Advanced mode. No. Oh, here we go. Advanced mode. Alrighty, boot. Okay, it appears the SATA cable for the SSD wasn't actually plugged in properly. There we go. Sweet as. Awesome. Well, it's booting into Windows, no worries. Let's do a few more boot loops on it and just make sure it's all good. Let's close up the back. Oh, trying to hold this fan controller doesn't really sit.
Start the rain. It's starting to get real loud.
Okay. There we go, this PC should be all good for the customer now to get a bit more use out of. It's an older machine, but it checks out. That's why I like fixing computers, because I like the idea of people getting some more life out of their machines. So much e-waste that, you know, it's really good when you can get some more use out of an older system like this. You know, weird problems like this, you know, some people will be like, oh, your motherboard's fucked, or something like that. They won't really go through and investigate what's actually going wrong with it. They'll just assume what they want to assume, and that'll be it. So we'll just boot it up a few times and shut it down, and boot it up and shut it down and boot it up. Just making sure that the problem, the same weird issue that we had with it isn't gonna just resurface after a couple of times. So this might seem redundant to keep checking it like this, but believe it or not, it's not redundant, because the last thing I want and the last thing the customer wants is to have to call me back and going, hey, it's still doing it. Because it makes me look bad, it makes me look like I haven't actually figured out what was wrong with it. So usually it's something simple, or you get the flip side of that, where it's I'm giving you a bad news story and I'm calling you up going, yeah, so you want the bad news or the bad news? But it's pretty much all good news for this system tonight. So
Happy days.
Happy days. The Xeon lives to fight another day. Oh. Alright, let's just do it one more time, and I'm pretty sure that this PC is all good to hand back. No parts required, that's always good. So yeah, there we go. As you can see, we've got a system that's booting up nice and fast, not having any errors anymore. No major problems. It was just that fan controller and the particular header that it was plugged into was just causing it dramas. I know it's weird because it was probably plugged in there for years and didn't cause this problem, but hey, that's the nature of it, unfortunately. Things get older, and sometimes little tiny changes in the operation of these devices can cause strange errors. And as a motherboard ages, you know, it could be a case of, you know, we could just have reseated that fan header and it may have worked again. But to take that out of the equation, I've actually moved that fan controller to another header. So, and that header is just a chassis fan header. So it's not going to cause the weird kind of CPU errors that it was getting plugged into one of the CPU headers. And that's why the CPU headers are marked differently on the motherboard, because there is a bit of extra fail-safe kind of algorithms built into that. So it becomes more problematic when you do add things like fan controllers and you run them through that, because it's expecting to find a CPU fan at that header, and it's expecting it to either be this, this, or this. And if it finds something that's outside of those parameters, it can have a SPAC. Why it was working for ages and it just all of a sudden happened, that's the nature of older PCs. Operational characteristic. So anyway, we're going to leave this one here. We're going to shut this one down, and that will be it for tonight. But tomorrow we're going to be back. We've got a heap of PCs to build tomorrow. So going live starting probably about 11 o'clock. And yeah, we'll get at least 2 or 3 done tomorrow, I reckon. So watch this space, and I'll see you tomorrow.